It did, yeah. So we did have the easterly winds. We had a little bit of a surge on the ocean side, but there was a low tide at the time of the highest storm surge. So we effectively saw little, if any, coastal flooding on the ocean side. But we knew from this map that the higher storm surge flooding would be on the sound side, and that's precisely what we saw.
All right, so zoom out the map here. If folks haven't seen this, this is what it looks like, and you can see how many areas here are under the blue here. So the blue is up to 3 feet of water, and the yellow is deeper than that. Yeah, we're not done yet because we have that northwesterly wind. It's going to turn more westerly, and that's pushing water up into parts of Alligator River here, the Roatan Island over here. Those are areas that are still getting impacted as we speak. Yeah, so now that the storm, so let's put the hurricane is out there, so the wind's coming around like this. So it's still going to dry for a while, but because the hurricane is moving away, these winds will die down here, and pretty quickly because it's moving away at 23 miles an hour. But it takes a while for the water to come down. That's the good news. The storm is moving away, but as you mentioned, the water doesn't just come down immediately. It takes usually about 6 hours for the water levels to actually come all the way down. So that water is going to stay elevated at least through the morning hours. Right. Yeah. All right. So we've got a ways to go here, and we have seen. Well, let's talk about what happened down farther south down there. Move that down to where we can see Hatteras on this map. So Hatteras is down here. It's actually, yes, it's up in this area right in here, right? And we had a report down there from the, so it's right in that area there, where the water came up there also remarkably fast. Yeah, another report of that spike. So we're looking at the spike in the water. Water levels, as Jim was saying, I mean, these water levels came up within a matter of minutes, maybe 20 or 30 minutes. And this is Hatteras right in this area. This is, well, that's Ocracoke right there. Oh, it's up here. Hatteras is up here, yeah. So let's move us down a little bit. But you can see that the yellow value is indicating greater than 3 feet of storm surge possible. Right on the sound side over here, yeah. So that's where we saw that. Actually, that station, Brian, is the Coast Guard station. That's right in here and right on the sound side there. So yeah, again, once again, we had primarily that southeasterly flow that switched over at some point, became southerly, and then eventually westerly, and then once it became westerly, pushing the water up against the sound side here, and that's where we got the flooding down there in Hatteras. And so storm surge is so tremendously driven by the direction of the wind. So when the wind was coming in from the northwest, that's when Hatteras got it, and then it switched more to the southwest, and that's when Werdanthi and the waves got it. That's when we saw the waves come up, further up Hatteras Island. Further up Hatteras Island. Okay, Michael Laurie, thank you very much. Let's send it back in the studio now. Jen and Alex.
All right, guys, thank you. Now, of course, this morning we're continuing to bring you the very latest on Hurricane Arthur. We want to bring you some of the updates on power outages and other issues that we know about this morning.
Yeah, that's right. In fact, nearly 22,000 people without power this morning. In addition, the power on Ocracoke Island, that's been knocked out. Restoration is expected to begin at around daybreak. Most power outages there in Carteret County. And trees, they're down along Highway 24. They're in Cape Carteret.
We also want to share some of the newest and the best video that we've seen coming into us this morning. First is from Kill Devil Hills as the wind and the rain and the water just streams over the area right here in the Outer Banks of North Carolina.
Wow. And of course, we've had our crews out there stationed tracking all of this, including our very own Jim Cantori. And he's still braving all of these wicked winds. Of course, storm surge out there a problem as well. And those are just two of the threats from Arthur.
All right, we'll have the very latest on Arthur after the short break.
Red, white, and blue pancakes are under $5. That's about as American as it gets.
What do you mean?
Blueberry pancakes, strawberries, and cream cheese icing starting at just $4.99. Apple pie, watch out.
Welcome to Denny's.
Introducing the new Optimum by Sealy Posturepedic. With cooling gel foam from top to bottom, optimum temperature for a more comfortable sleep. This 4th of July, get a free box spring with the purchase of any Optimum mattress.
Want to celebrate the 4th without little uninvited guests? Stop by your neighborhood Ace to get Ortho Home Defense Max with Comfort Wand. Just $9.99 after $3 instant savings during our 4th of July event, happening now.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Looks like the Garcia's got a new car.
What'd they get?
I don't know.
Sure doesn't look like a Buick.
I'm outside. Where are you?
I'm right here. I'm in the Buick.
I don't see a Buick.
Take a fresh look at Buick. It just might surprise you.
Ooh, that's not a Buick. That's what I told him.
Wow. This is
nice. Oh, my.
Enjoy the dealer experience ranked highest by J.D. Power and get $12.50 Independence Day cash plus 0% financing for 60 months on the 2014 Enclave.
Currently in our area, 79 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Independence Day, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 90, chance of rain 60%. Tonight, partly cloudy with a slight chance of thunderstorms. Low 76, chance of rain 30%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Let's try on a new coat, one that covers better, lasts longer, and protects us from the elements, inside and out. Let's go to the place with the best paint, take it home for less, then rock and roll. Let's do the one thing that changes everything. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Right now, get $5 off cans and $20 off buckets of select paints and stains.
Listen up. I'm reworking the menu. Veggies, you're cool. Mayo, corn dogs, you are so out of here.
The complete balanced nutrition of great tasting Ensure. 24 vitamins and minerals, 9 grams of protein with 30% less sugars than before. Ensure, your #1 doctor recommended brand, now introduces Ensure Active. Muscle health, clear protein drink, and high protein. Targeted nutrition to feed your active life. Ensure, take life in.
The best part of coming together is how delicious it can be. Hershey's S'mores, the unmistakable taste that reminds us that life is delicious.
I want to update you on, of course, Hurricane Arthur continuing to churn here in the eastern parts of the Carolinas. Some new video into us. This is from Jim Cantori's location. Some new video again to us of the impacts of Arthur into the overnight hours. And there you can see Jim. Looks like he was out there interviewing this gentleman there. And you can see the winds. They're whipping around out there as well. Giving you some of the latest stats there that were coming in from the Rodanthe area there. So, yeah, it's been a rough morning, no doubt about it. And Jim has mentioned that Highway 12 having some issues, water over that, parking lots flooded with water. So, tough times there in the eastern parts of North Carolina.
I just saw a picture actually on Twitter coming from Rodanthe, and there was water inside a building coming up the stairwell, a couple of stairs. So, water rise certainly a big concern. We have our teams there along the Outer Banks, including Mike Seidel. He's been in Kill Devil Hills. He's going to join us again with the latest. Mike, we're watching your wind direction very closely, and it looks like it might have shifted a little more now, coming maybe almost due north.
Yeah, it's just about due north, maybe just a little east of north, maybe about 20 degrees on the compass, but it's certainly blowing down this way towards the south instead of how it was most of the night and early this morning, blowing from the south to the north. What I want you to notice is the big drop off here. We have lost a lot of sand out here on this beach, and you can see the sand blowing by. This is like being in Fargo in January or anywhere this past winter. The beach raised here by the sand, so we're also getting that kind of, we're getting the wind erosion. The water is finally backing off a little bit. Remember, we're going towards low tide in about 2 hours and 20 minutes or so, about 7:30 Eastern out here at Kill Devil Hills. That really helped us because as the tide was going out, the surge was coming in.
Well, you know, something else from Mike Schott there. couple as usual the case with a landfalling hurricane. You've got issues with the satellite signal. But there's another stronger one of the outer bands coming in. It's going to bring in another stronger gusts of wind coming into the Mike Seidel area. We're just north of there anyway, watching that up around southern shores right now.
And that's right. Of course, with these hurricanes, you can get that. You get a little lull, and then things really start to move right back on in. Well, of course, we know Arthur has knocked out power to thousands of folks across parts of North Carolina. Transportation, that's another big concern. We got Mark Charbonneau back with us again here from the North Carolina Department of Transportation, joining us here with a bit of an update. Any of the key bridges, roadways closed? I know we've gotten some reports of Highway 12 with water over it. Is that still the case at this point?
We don't know the full extent yet. We'll know at first light. We have our crews that are on standby. They've been positioned. We have 25 additional large pieces of equipment that we staged up and down Highway 12 to help push that sand and water off the roadway as soon as it's safe to do so, and they've got the light to work with. So that'll be the mission for first thing this morning, getting our crews out there, assessing the damage, assessing the roads, and getting to work to try to get the road back open as quickly as possible, and also inspecting the bridge, the Bonner Bridge, as quickly as possible to make sure that's safe to reopen.
And Mike, assuming there's no structural damage, we know there's at least sand. How long would it take to clear off the sand, clear off any other debris, and get the road back open, assuming that the structure is fine?
Sure. It really depends on just how much sand and water that we've got on there. By pre-positioning all those pieces of equipment and having the folks on the ground, it's going to allow us to get our folks out there and starting to push sand as they're assessing damage. So, you know, safety's first. We've got to make sure the roadway's safe, the bridge is safe, but also we know it's very important to get our residents back in. We know it's important to get the roadway back open for tourists, all of our visitors that are in town. So step one was getting people to safety before the storm. Step two is going to be working to get the road safely open as quickly as possible so we can get back to business on the beach.
And Mike, where do you want people to go for more information? If they're trying to find specific information about roads, is there a specific website they should look at?
Sure. Well, ncdot.gov. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter at ncdot, and our Facebook page, our NC12 Facebook page is a great source for information. Also, in the state of North Carolina, we have an app, Ready NC, that has all the information, emergency, roads, and otherwise. Best place to go for information.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Mike Charbonneau with the North Carolina Department of Transportation. Important information for folks who are trying to eventually get back to enjoy the July 4th holiday weekend.
And start their vacation. We'll be right back with more on Arthur.
Here's to the man who truly is the best of us.
Who really has the key to the city? With best-in-class payload and best-in-class cargo capacity and an unsurpassed powertrain warranty, you run the town. The all-new Ram ProMaster. Guts, glory, Ram.
Fact. Every time you take Advil Liquid Gels, you're taking the pain reliever that works faster on tough pain than extra-strength Tylenol. And not only faster, stronger, too. Relief doesn't get any better than this. Advil. Fact. Every time you take Advil, you're taking the medicine doctors recommend most for joint pain, more than the medicine in Aleve or Tylenol. The medicine in Advil is the #1 doctor recommendation for joint pain. Relief doesn't get any better than this. Advil.
Whoa. 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 Whoa.
Sunny, sexy, sizzling.
People come here to live their dream.
Welcome to Miami Real Estate.
$5 million.
8.9.
$20 million.
Where these three agents each have a vice.
You might want to lay off the Botox because apparently it's seeping into your brain.
I will never lose my Northeast class.
This is ridiculous. The high we're supposed to close tomorrow.
There really isn't any competition.
Yes.
$1 Million Listing Miami. All new every Wednesday at 9/8 Central. Only by Bravo.
Exist in the wild today. Criminals are killing them for their skins and bones. We need to do something before it's too late. World Wildlife Fund works to protect wild tigers, but we can't do it without you. For just $8 a month, you can symbolically adopt a tiger, and you can help save them and other endangered species and their habitats. To adopt now, call us or go online to WWFnow.org and receive your free adoption kit as our way of saying thank you. Wild tiger numbers are at an all-time low. Please help save them now.
Stay tuned for your Local on the 8s, brought to you by Lowe's, the place to save this 4th of July.
Kids are fed?
Kids are fed, homework is done, baths are taken.
I'm impressed. Looks like you've got everything under control.
We got it all under control here. We're all good, right, guys?
Yeah, we're all good here. Yep.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Love you.
Finally, a paint that's stain-resistant and scrubbable. Introducing new Valspar Reserve. Now get $10 to $40 off our best paint and stains.
Currently in our area, 79 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Independence Day, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 90, chance of rain 60%. Tonight, partly cloudy with a slight chance of thunderstorms. Low 76. Chance of rain 30%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Well, we continue to track Hurricane Arthur, buzz song across parts of the Carolina coast. In fact, now moving its way out back into the open waters of the Atlantic.
Yes, let's get right to hurricane specialists Michael Lowry and Brian Norcross for the latest. Michael, thank you. Let's talk more about the surge and in particular the Soundside surge and if it's coming down.
Hey, Jen, it's been a particularly rough morning for the sound side of North Carolina, unfortunately, along the Outer Banks. I want to show you the current storm surge flooding that we're getting. These are just two observations that we have along the coast. There are many places in between that are seeing worse flooding than you're getting here on the map. Okay, so in Hatteras, we have a half a foot. It was up earlier. It's coming down now. That's because the winds. Look at the wind direction here. We had a more northwesterly to westerly wind that was piling up water. Sound side here, this station is actually on the Pamlico side, not the ocean side of the Outer Banks. That was piling up water earlier. We had storm surges of about 2 to 3 feet there in Hatteras, but that's now going down because the wind's shifting to a southwesterly direction, sort of paralleling the coast here. That's some good news for you folks down here along the Hatteras Bight. But further up the coast, near Rodanthe, near Salvo, near Waze, where Jim Cantore was, Oregon Inlet, 2.7 feet is what's being recorded right now as actual storm surge flooding at that particular location. But there are locations, as I mentioned, in between that are worse and harder hit because they're lower lying. I do want to show you a trace here of the storm surge. This just goes to show you how quickly those water levels came up. And you heard Jim Cantore say that he observed about a 6-foot change in water level in about 20 minutes. That is just remarkable. So the storm surge is that dashed purple line. There was actually a set down, something that we call a set down, meaning that you had easterly winds earlier that were blowing water away from those western facing sound side locations. But when the water switched, I mean, it was like a light switch. And it's almost like turning off a fan. So imagine the Pamlico sound is almost a bowl of water. All the water on one side, you turn off the fan. You're not just turning off the fan, you're blowing it in the other direction. So all the water sloshes back, and you can see that water just quickly coming up. This here is our flood line, so we're still above that flood line. And the water levels, as a reminder, slow to recede. They come down slowly as they go up. They may go up quickly, but it's probably going to be another 6 hours or so until those water levels begin to go down. Let's check in with Dave Malkoff right now. I'm sorry, let's go back to the studio in the meantime with Jen and Alex. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Michael. And you know what? Yeah, certainly the sound side of these areas are getting the brunt of it right now. But you know, folks in the New York City area waiting to see if Arthur is maybe going to be sending some issues their way and how it's going to impact the 4th of July plans.
It looks like some waves for sure. So this morning we've got NBC's Ron Allen joining us live from Long Beach, New York. So Ron, talk about the rip current risk and the waves and how things are looking there right now.
Well, we've got that, but the waves are very calm, as you can see behind me. This is about normal where things are. It's the quiet before the storm, to use that cliche you'll probably hear a lot today from this part of the country. But we expect there to be hundreds of surfers out here at some point because of the forecast. We think things are going to get a little bit rougher as the day goes on. The concern here over the past couple of days, though, has been rain, drenching rain, heavy thunderstorms that have really drenched things. You can see if you look down in this direction at the boardwalk how drenched it is. And this, by the way, is a brand new boardwalk here in Long Beach, 2.5 miles that was built after Superstorm Sandy destroyed much of this and really hurt this town a couple of years ago. But again, the bottom line now is that we're expecting rain. The winds are calm. It's about 75 degrees. We don't really expect to see the hurricane hit. We'll get some of the edges of it, perhaps. It could churn, but you guys know better than I do. The big concern here is rain, heavy rain through the day. But most of the 4th of July events that we're hearing about, many of them will get in. Some people have canceled. Some towns have canceled. Like here, they had a concert planned for tonight that they were going to push back into later into the summer just as a precaution. But the Macy's Day Parade, for example, the big one in New York City, is going to go on come what may, they say. So you have that, and everybody's watching just to see how rainy it is and whether they can get out here and have some fun at the beach.
Ron, thank you. The rain certainly is going to be the main impact on land, but the water and the waves and the rip current risk is going to be the biggest issue out there today, so we urge people to stay safe. They are under high rip current risk. I know it doesn't look bad right now, but it will be, and sometimes it's very misleading too when you just look out in the water. So it is not going to be a day to swim, actually, in the area.
Key phrase is just soak up the rays. Well, there won't be much rays because it's going to be
by afternoon there will be. Yeah, all right. Well, we've got continuing coverage of Arthur. It continues on Hurricane Central right here on the Weather Channel.
Yep, we've got more on Wake Up with Val, and of course coming up this morning we've got Stephanie Abrams live in Kill Devil Hills, braving some of the fierce winds and wild waves.
Stay safe, everyone.
Listen up. I'm reworking the menu. Veggies, you're cool. Mayo, corn dogs, you are so out of here.
The complete balanced nutrition of great tasting Ensure. 24 vitamins and minerals, 9 grams of protein with 30% less sugars than before. Ensure, your #1 doctor recommended brand, now introduces Ensure Active. Muscle health, clear protein drink, and high protein. Targeted nutrition to feed your active life. Ensure, take life in.
Sealy Posturepedic Hybrid, the contouring comfort of cooling gel memory foam in the top half, and the deep down support of titanium alloy springs underneath, making it perfect for everyone. This 4th of July, get a free box spring with the purchase of any Sealy Posturepedic Hybrid mattress.
Sun's out. Challenge issued.
New Coppertone Sport AccuSpray. Designed to help you spray where you want, not where you don't.
It's so on.
Coppertone Sport AccuSpray. It's on.
This is Mark. At work, for those who want to enjoy their days, not just get through them. New One-A-Day VitaCraves with energy support. The only complete gummy multivitamin that supports energy and mental alertness. New from One-A-Day.
Summer days drifting away to those summer nights. Tell me more.
Twizzlerize your summer fun with Twizzlers, the twist you can't resist.
Let's go Emerald Coasting. Visit Destin, Fort Walton Beach, Okaloosa Island, the heart of Florida's Emerald Coast.
After 50 years of designing cars for crash survival, Subaru has developed our most revolutionary feature yet. A car that can see trouble and stop itself to avoid it. When the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety tested front crash prevention, nobody beat Subaru models with eyesight. Not Honda, not Ford, or any other brand. Subaru Eyesight, an extra set of eyes every time you drive.
Kids are fed?
Kids are fed. Homework is done. Baths are taken.
I'm impressed. Looks like you've got everything under control.
We got it all under control here. We're all good, right, guys?
Yeah, we're all good here. Yep.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Love you.
Finally, a paint that's stain resistant and scrubbable. Introducing new Valspar Reserve. Now get $10 to $40 off our best paint and stains.
Currently in our area, 79 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Independence Day, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 90, chance of rain 60%. Tonight, partly cloudy with a slight chance of thunderstorms. Low 76, chance of rain 30%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
And this morning, on a very special edition of Wake Up With Al, Hurricane Arthur. It's a Category 2 storm. It made landfall shortly after 11 p.m. last night, but still the impact's far from over. We are tracking it up the entire East Coast, actually, right here, right now on Wake Up With Al. Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, July 4th, 2014. Welcome to the special edition of Wake Up With Al. We are tracking Hurricane Arthur this morning, and Stephanie is standing by in Kill Devil Hills. Of course, the weather having an impact on getting that satellite feed in as we speak, but we'll get to her as soon as we can. Now, first, we want to bring you the latest. We have North Carolina Governor McCrory with telling us that more than 4,300 people did evacuate from Hatteras and Ocracoke Islands. The peak wind gust when we had landfall, we're near Cape Lookout at 101 miles per hour. Ocracoke had winds gusting to 99 miles per hour, and at Pamlico Sound, a wind gust of 99 miles per hour. The North Carolina National Guard and the North Carolina DOT crews are all ready to go to assess what happened post-Arthur when it comes to transportation issues, and they'll be out there as soon as daylight and weather permits. So as we track the latest on Hurricane Arthur, we're going to bring right in our hurricane specialist, Brian Norcross. And again, Brian, the latest advisory keeps it at 100 miles per hour. It's back now out over water. Of course, the track of what's next along the eastern seaboard is of question, and if there's any additional strengthening to happen as well, right?
That's exactly right. Although we don't expect strengthening, we actually expect Arthur to start weakening here during the day today, but not a whole lot. And then it's actually going to get some energy as it moves to the north and be quite strong off the northeast coast. So this is going to stay a strong storm for a good while and have effect on New England, but as it zooms by there. Let's get you caught up now. If you're just tuning in and just getting up this morning, Arthur moved over the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Here are the Outer Banks here. Now there's the center of it right there, but still Arthur is affecting those Outer Banks. But the top winds as of the 5 o'clock advisory, 100 miles an hour is the estimate from the National Hurricane Center of the top winds in the circulation. The last pressure measurement was 973 that hurricane hunters took when it was back here over Pamlico Sound. So it's moved in this kind of northeasterly direction, and now it's actually picked up speed, moving northeast at 23, 85 miles now southeast of Norfolk, Virginia, which is up in here. All right, let's go close up on the radar, because this really tells the story of what's going on now and what happened. So first of all, what's going on now is that the eye wall, which is this part around the eye here, here's the eye, and this eye wall right in here, that's where the strongest winds are. That's still affecting the area from Kill Devil Hills on down to north of Rodanthe. And actually, there's still some strong winds coming in from the west. Not as strong as they were, but still plenty strong, pushing the water from Pamlico Sound back against here. This is the Outer Banks right here. Here's the water out in here, and that water is getting pushed against the sound side of the Outer Banks, and that's where we've had this extreme flooding and this overtopping of Highway 12 there, and that's where the transportation is going to be very difficult, and there's going to have to be a lot of work to do. Here we see on this wind analysis, this was taken just a little while ago, but you can clearly see the direction the wind is here, and pretty soon when this eye moves out of the way, then we'll just have a general northwest wind in there, and it will calm down, and the water will continue to go down. Actually, the wind is letting up enough that it's allowing the water to begin to go down, and over the next couple hours it'll go down significantly, and the Outer Banks will be able to recover. Where is it going next? It's heading off to the northeast, and it's you can see the wind speeds here, 90 miles an hour, Saturday 85 miles an hour as it is here off of New England. But the thing is that as it goes on by, it's going to turn into a bigger storm, and so the west side of it could affect Cape Cod there, so they've got tropical storm warnings up for all of Cape Cod and Nantucket. So in New England, a fringe effect. We're not really concerned about that. They can certainly deal with big nor'easters and so forth as they speed on by, but that is going to kind of mess up tonight up there in New England, and also down East Maine could have some effects. All right, Jen, back to you.
All right, Brian, thank you. Now, we want to go next to Reagan Medji, who has been following the impacts for us along the North Carolina coast. She's in Wrightsville Beach this morning. And Reagan, the eye of Arthur came in well to the north and east of you up towards Cape Lookout. But you were in that western edge. What did you experience last night during the worst of it, and how is it right now?
Well, we'll start with right now because that's what you're seeing right now. I'm not wearing my rain pants. I do want to mention that. And basically, it's dry, a nice wind. It's cooled down a little bit, and that's going to be something great for people to wake up to for the 4th of July festivities today. We've been talking about, or I've been talking about, what a difference a day makes in a couple of hours. Last night, it was windy, it was wet, and it was just pretty bad. Now, we're going to have a live look at Johnny Mercer's pier behind me, and we're going to show you some video. I'm assuming the video, I'm not sure, my producer did request it. It's waves crashing against the pier behind me. It was a very rough surf last night, and that is exactly why the Ocean Rescue here was maintaining guard the entire day into the evening hours. By maintaining guard, I don't mean that they were on their guard stand watching everybody come in and swim around. They were trying to make sure people got out of the water. In fact, we were here not only when there was a tornado warning that was over the radio with those Ocean Rescue members, but they were also here pulling people out of the water. People decided that, hey, why don't we check out the water? Not a good idea, guys. Shouldn't be doing that, especially in a hurricane. But right now it seems, looks are deceiving. It seems like a beautiful, calm area. But the Ocean Rescue, which we've been communicating with often, have said, yes, it looks good, but this is when the rip currents are still strong, even after the storm. So we're keep taking an eye to that. Early this morning, I went out with my crew, my beautiful, wonderful crew. We went out with the mayor here of Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina, Bill Blair. He took us around town. Let's look and assess the damage. Let's see what happened, what didn't happen. So all of you guys waking up, you're in good hands here in Wrightsville Beach. Not a lot of damage, and that's a good thing. Beach erosion, not a lot as well. So right here in Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina, we're looking pretty good, but we're having our fingers crossed for those neighbors up north. Back to you.
Yeah, Reagan, thank you. And you brought up a very good point about the beach and the water today. It's going to be a big concern up and down the eastern seaboard, actually, is the rip current risk of Jones Beach, Long Beach Island, New York City area. Be wary of the water today. That's going to be a concern. Now, last night, it was a mess because of this front in the northeast and the thunderstorms that erupted, power outages, flight delays, cancellations. We're going to watch the same front today on the move. It's one of the things that will help steer Arthur away from the coast. However, the interaction with the front and the tropical moisture from Arthur could mean some periods of heavy rain. And I think we're already starting to see some of that actually happen into southeastern Virginia. So watching concerns for heavy rain down here. But then high pressure builds in, and we've got a great looking weekend. Today is the day we have to watch very closely with the weather. Here is a look at where the front is, and then also where we have the moisture from Arthur continuing now to push into parts of the eastern shore of Maryland, southeastern Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia Beach. It's been a tough morning already for you with some storms out there. I know you're watching very closely as well. And we we are watching it for you. Now, we take a look at the forecast for today in the Northeast, and it's the front that's going to bring this rain shower activity throughout the Northeast here, up and down, say, I-95 from Philly up towards the Boston area into Maine. And then, of course, the moisture that gets tangled up with the front later today could exacerbate some of the rainfall for us into portions of southern New England, even up into northern New England as well. Now, we take you into the forecast by tomorrow that you see how quickly the sun is coming back out and the drier air is building on in. We'll have more on the forecast here for you, of course, across the east with Arthur. The latest coming in from the Joint Information Center for North Carolina. That's up next.
Currently in our area, 79 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Independence Day, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 90, chance of rain 60%. Tonight, partly cloudy with a slight chance of thunderstorms. Low 76. Chance of rain 30%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Discover Brookside and discover an exciting combination of tastes. Rich, dark chocolate covering soft centers, flavored with exotic fruit juices. It's chocolate and fruit flavors like you've never experienced before. Discover Brookside.
There once was a hungry road that ate up tires, wearing down tread and wearing out safety. Then along came the Michelin Man, who got drivers back on the road with safety that lasts. Find your tire at MichelinMan.com. Michelin, a better way forward.
You've reached the age where you learned a thing or two. This is the age of knowing what you're made of. So why let erectile dysfunction get in your way? Talk to your doctor about Viagra. 20 million men already have. Ask your doctor if your heart is healthy enough for sex. Do not take Viagra if you take nitrates for chest pain. It may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Side effects include headache, flushing, upset stomach, and abnormal vision. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help for an erection lasting more than 4 hours. Stop taking Viagra and call your doctor right away if you experience a sudden decrease or loss in vision or hearing. This is the age of taking action. Viagra. Talk to your doctor.
Looks like the Garcia's got a new car.
What'd they get?
I don't know.
Sure doesn't look like a Buick.
Buick. I'm outside. Where are you? I'm right here. I'm in the Buick. I don't see a Buick.
Take a fresh look at Buick. It just might surprise you.
Oh, that's not a Buick. That's what I told him. Wow. This is nice. Oh, my.
Enjoy the dealer experience ranked highest by J.D. Power and get $1,250 Independence Day cash plus 0% financing for 60 months on the 2014 Enclave.
Husband and a real good dad, but weeds just make me rattlesnake mad. Well, Roundup has a sharpshooting wand. I'm sending them weeds to the great beyond. Roundup. Yeah. No need to pump, just point and shoot. Hit him in the leaves and it kills to the root. Round fences, trees, even mulched beds, because the only good weed is a weed that's dead. Roundup. Yeah. Roundup. Yeah. With a one-touch wand. Ike, Andrew, Rita, Ivan, Sandy. Meet Chris, Jackie, Joe, Shannon. Minor damage or major disaster. When you need us most, we're there. State Farm.
We're a force of nature, too. Let's try on a new coat, one that covers better, lasts longer, and protects us from the elements, inside and out. Let's go to the place with the best paint, take it home for less, then rock and roll. Let's do the one thing that changes everything. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Right now, get $5 off cans and $20 off buckets of select paints and stains.
It's raining.
Americans drink over 13 billion gallons of sugary beverages every year. Overconsumption may link to obesity and heart disease. It's an epidemic. But we can help change it with a better choice. Drink more water. Filtered by Brita. Clean, refreshing Brita water. Nothing is better. Now enjoy Brita filtered water anywhere with on-the-go bottles.
Welcome back into Wake Up with Alan. Meteorologist Stephanie Abrams live here on Kill Devil Hills, getting sandblasted by the northerly wind. I took a wind observation, and believe it or not, the winds you're looking at here that are actually giving me a hard time standing up are only gusting anywhere from 15 to 20 miles an hour. The beach has had some erosion. Now, look, this has not been significant erosion, but it looks like the water has eaten away the beach several feet, all the way to about this point is where we have had that beach erosion, and then we only have a few feet left of the beach until you hit the dunes. Now, we have not lost electricity where we are located. Highway 12, right where we are in Kill Devil Hills, is passable, but that has not been the case to the south of me in Rodanthe, where Jim Cantore has been riding out the storm. They're going through the eye wall there. The water rising very quickly for them. This has mainly been a wind event, and right now we are getting that northerly wind as that system, as Arthur, I should say, pulls away, thankfully, at a faster rate. It's now moving out at 23 miles an hour. The advisory before that, it was moving out at 21 miles an hour, and we were just on the northern edge of the eye. We did not get into the eye. We were really on that northern eye wall as it passed by, but it is now racing out over into the Atlantic, of course, flooding on the sound side of the Outer Banks is going to be an issue because we're going to get more of that westerly wind, and that's going to push all the water onto the sound side. So the wind is blowing so tough at times, it takes your breath away. And I was sleeping throughout the night, but Jim Cantore and Mike Seidel, they had been out braving the elements all night long, and here's what it looks like.
Wow, what a morning here in Waves, North Carolina. We are really getting hammered with the wind. Winds are blowing about 60, 70 miles an hour. I understand from our friends here at Real Water Sports, they actually have wind buoys out there in the middle of Pamlico Sound. Winds are at 80 miles an hour right now.
Hey, Jim, I think we've gusted close to 40. That's about it. Again, we're about 30, 35 miles north of you. We've got a pretty significant rain band right now. Both of us have been talking about how strong the longshore drift is going from south to north. And we found this board that floated up. Jim, I'm going to throw this in the water right here. We've got the light, and I don't know if we can follow it, but we can see what happens. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, if we can follow it, but what's going to happen there, look how it's just going. Well, we've kind of lost it in the surf, but now, look at that. It is, you can't even see it now. It's already about 50, 60 yards down the beach. Trust me, it is gone. And that's what's going on. Not only that's gone, but the sand is being eaten by these waves, which are ramping up.
Now, there are curfews in effect here for several areas in and around the Outer Banks. Arthur's the first Category 2 or stronger hurricane to make landfall in the U.S. mainland since 2008. Also the first hurricane, believe it or not, to make landfall on July 4th. Now, we do have also numerous reports of power outages. We are seeing over 20,000 people without power. Of course, flights here at Onslow County, North Carolina, those have been canceled as well. And Dare County Emergency Management is accessing into county restriction Friday morning for damage assessment. So far, though, it doesn't look like we've seen significant damage, just spotty damage around the area, though there have been some stronger wind gusts. We're talking 70, 80, 90, even 100-mile-per-hour wind gusts off to our south, right in that eye wall. Now, this thing is going to make several landfalls. Of course, it made that first landfall down, here, towards, having a hard time reading this. Sorry, Shackelford Banks, North Carolina is a Category 2 with winds at 100 miles an hour. Then making a landfall here into the Outer Banks, and then eventually, as it rides up the East Coast, meeting with this front, it is going to bring some problems on into places like Nova Scotia as well. So when we come back, we are going to have our expert. We have experts. We have Brian Norcross, and we also have Michael Lowry in studio to give a detailed analysis of where the storm is going, what we're going to see over the next several hours, and when that sun will be back. It is the 4th of July weekend, after all, and people want to get back out and do their activities. And you know what? By later this evening, even here on the Outer Banks, you're going to be able to do that. We will be right back after a quick break from your local on the 8th. Stay with us here as we cover Hurricane Arthur, still a Category 2 hurricane.
In this bag is 150 years of Swedish experience in perfecting the rich, never bitter taste of Gevalia. We do it all for this very experience.
That's good.
I know, right? Gevalia.
Listen up, Thunder Dragons. It's time to get a hotel.
Hey, Razor, check this out. We can save big with Priceline Express deals.
You know what, man? These guys ain't no dragons.
They're cool. These deals are legit.
Yeah, we're cool.
She's cool. We're cool.
Priceline Express deals are totally legit. Check this. Thousands of people book them every day and score killer deals. Now Priceline is piling on even more savings with its summer sale. So grab your giant beach towel and enter code SUMMER14. Look at me enjoying the deals.
Introducing the new Optimum by Sealy Posturepedic. With cooling gel foam from top to bottom, optimum temperature for a more comfortable sleep. This 4th of July, get a free box spring with the purchase of any Optimum mattress.
Hurry in for savings. Get 10 to 30% off major appliances $399 or more, plus 18 months special financing through July 7th at Lowe's.
Currently in our area, 79 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Independence Day, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 90, chance of rain 60%. Tonight, partly cloudy with a slight chance of thunderstorms. Low 76. Chance of rain 30%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
School's out and summer's in. Kick off your road trip at Pep Boys Hit the Road Jack sales event. This week only, get a DIY oil change for just $14.99 after rebate. Or let us do it for you for only $21.99. Don't miss the Hit the Road Jack sales event. Trust the boys to get you there.
Really? So our business can be on AT&T's network for $175 a month?
Yep, all 5 of you for $175.
Our clients need a lot of attention.
There's unlimited talk and text.
We're working deals all day.
You get 10 gigabytes of data to share.
What about expansion potential?
Add a line anytime for $15 a month.
Low dues, great terms.
Let's close.
Introducing AT&T Mobile Share Value Plans with our best ever pricing for business.
What makes Florida's natural orange juice taste so uniquely fresh and delicious? Is it the rich Florida soil or the perfect blend of sunshine, rain, and temperature? Maybe it's the fact that Florida's natural oranges are never imported. They're raised right here in Florida and passed with care from our hands to yours. 100% pure, 100% Florida. Florida's natural. Try our new citrus smoothies in the chilled juice section next to our orange juice.
Listen up!
I'm reworking the menu. Veggies, you're cool. Mayo, corn dogs, you are so out of here.
The complete balanced nutrition of great tasting Ensure. 24 vitamins and minerals, 9 grams of protein with 30% less sugars than before. Ensure, your #1 doctor recommended brand, now introduces Ensure Active. Muscle health.
From the streets of Philly to a drive-thru near you, it's Checkers Philly Cheesesteak Sub. Authentic Philly steak, grilled onions, and melted Swiss. Plus the new Chicken Philly, piled with mouth-watering grilled chicken. 2 Philly classics, just $1.99 each. Checkers.
Sunny, sexy, sizzling.
People come here to live their dream.
Welcome to Miami Real Estate.
$5 million.
8.9.
$20 million.
Where these 3 agents each have a vice.
You might want to lay off the Botox, because apparently it's seeping into your brain.
I will never lose my Northeast class.
This is ridiculous. The high we're supposed to close tomorrow. There really isn't any competition.
Yes.
$1 Million Listing Miami. All new every Wednesday at 9/8 Central. Only by Bravo.
Afraid of garlic? You may want to avoid Checkers garlic parm, fries, and sticks. With crispy seasoned fries, cheesy mozzarella sticks, and scary good garlic parm sauce. Grab a box if you dare. Checkers, feast on.
1-800-990-8968. Exos Pro is not sold in stores, so call 1-800-990-8968 today.
To Wake Up with Al. I've been taking wind observations here during the commercial breaks because I'm having a hard time standing, and I think that's something I want everyone to know at home, that it doesn't take a lot of wind to actually knock you over. Let's talk more about this with Jim Cantore. Jim, on my anemometer where I am, I have not been able to get anything higher than around 15 to 18 miles per hour, and that is actually making me shift and at times catch my footing. You know, some people think they can go outside and, oh, I'm in a category 2, force wind. That's not the case.
Abrams, we had 90 miles an hour this morning in waves, and I'm standing right now on Highway 12. All right, I'm in knee-to-thigh deep water right now, and I'm not even in the deepest part of it. As far as I can look north, as far as I can look south, Highway 12 completely underwater here, and it was a lot higher, okay, about an hour and a half ago when we were going through the height of this. Quite a scare for my crew. We got everybody out of harm's way as the water came in. You know, it's one thing being a meteorologist and knowing what to expect, but it's certainly another thing when you've never been through it before. So I wanted my hats off to my crew. They sucked it up, and absolutely we are live right now. Now notice this parking lot is empty right now, all right? And I want you to just notice this before I throw to the video. I can walk over here. You can see this green area here. We're at the Real Water Sports parking lot here in Waves. Let me show you what it looked like just an hour ago. Look at this. Wave action, breaking waves from Pamlico Sound rolling through here like it was pretty much crossing over to the other side. I mean, just incredible how fast the water came up. I would say 6 feet in 20 minutes. That's how long it took to get that water up. So just absolutely incredible here. And here, guys, we're going to pan around and show you what's going on. The crew from Real Water Sports is here. You can see the dock is sitting up here. That dock was about 100 yards out. And look at Pamlico Sound. It's docile on a normal day. And now, obviously, it looks like a wash tub out through there. So just a horrible experience here. This is going to take extensive time, obviously, to get all this water and whatever else is under that, under that water. We don't really know. Probably sand, maybe some debris. We've lost some roofing off this building. As a matter of fact, my cameraman almost lost his head when that thing rolled on through. So it's been a dangerous night, Steph. It's been a dangerous night with this Category 2 hurricane. We do have power loss, and I understand there may be a cut down toward Frisco. Yet another cut on Hatteras Island. We'll, as all this comes into us, we'll let you know. But again, right now, we still have major flooding on Highway 12. Waist-deep water. Back to you.
All right, let's talk more about that, Jim, because where we are, the water has continued to recede back into the Atlantic. I mean, even just within the last 10 minutes, it's gone back about 2 feet. They have had some beach erosion here, and we don't see a huge drop-off, but there have been several feet of sand that have been eroded. So let's talk about this water shift with our hurricane expert, Brian Norcross. And Brian, right now we're getting a northerly wind. Our water is going out
sound side, as Cantore was talking about, it's a totally different story with that west wind. The wind makes all the difference in the world.
The wind direction when you have a bowl of water like Pamlico Sound, especially, Stephanie, makes a tremendous difference. Let's get to the radar because I want to show you what happened at the peak of this when that water came surging in to where Jim Cantore is. Now, you see down there at the bottom of the screen, Rodanthe. Let me move this up a little bit. Jim is right here in Waves, and this is where there was the center of the eye, went over Oregon Inlet right there, and this was the circulation around it like that. So it pushed the water from Pamlico Sound over Waves and Rodanthe, and now watch as we put the radar in motion, and it's still going there. Well, you can see here on the analysis, it's still going. It's still coming in from the west down there, although as the eye is moving away now, the wind is finally beginning to let up. So initially up to the north there in Kill Devil Hills, it was coming in from the east. Now it's switched around to the north, so that's taken some pressure off the Atlantic. Here are the numbers. 100-mile-an-hour hurricane still going on. 973 is the pressure. Moving to the northeast, though, away from the Outer Banks, and things are going to slowly get better. But at Oregon Inlet, just to the north of where Jim Cantore is, the water is still actually rising slowly. So still longer to go there. All right, more continuing coverage, and I'll have a full report coming up in just a few minutes. Stay with us.
Currently in our area, 79 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Independence Day, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 90, chance of rain 60%. Tonight, partly cloudy with a slight chance of thunderstorms. Low 76. Chance of rain 30%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
This morning we are tracking Hurricane Arthur. It made landfall this morning, its first landfall as a Category 2, and it is moving off to the northeast very quickly at 23 miles an hour. It made landfall shortly after 11 o'clock, and we are tracking the storm as it moves up the east coast. It is July 4th. Happy 4th of July. It's starting off a little rough here along the Carolina coast, but I promise you conditions will be improving. We're getting sandblasted with a northerly wind right now. So here's the very latest on Hurricane Arthur. Hatteras saw nearly a 3-foot rise in water levels in less than an hour. NCDOT, that's the North Carolina Department of Transportation, has been tweeting this morning saying, "Good morning, y'all. We will begin assessing damage from Arthur ASAP. North Carolina, more than 20,000 without power." So let's track this system. And I'm so glad that the movement of this thing picked up steam from 5 a.m. from the previous advisor. It was going at 21 miles an hour out to sea, now at 23 miles an hour out to sea, but still bringing very gusty winds and heavy rainfall on some of those bands as well. And the pressure still in the 900s, and it is still a Category 2 hurricane. We, of course, have live TV coverage. We've had it all night long, and we continue to have it all day long here from Arthur. Jim Cantore is in Rodanthe. Regan Medji is in Wrightsville Deep. And then, of course, we have our senior hurricane expert, Brian Norcross, manning the desk. And, Brian, these winds are a little tough to stand in. You know, I took an observation with my anemometer. The highest I can get is around 15 to 18 miles an hour. But how strong are the winds right now in these periphery bands?
Well, I just checked Kill Devil Hills, and about 25, 27 miles an hour sustained, but gusting up well over 30 miles an hour and kind of coming right down the beach. So you got an open exposure there, and I think that's why that wind really feels strong. I mean, that's a healthy wind. That's a very strong wind there. So not by any means what they're getting to the south of the storm or what they got to the south of the storm. Let's bring you up to date. If you're just tuning in at 6 o'clock Eastern time here, we have a 100-mile-an-hour hurricane. Just update just in from the National Hurricane Center, and 973 pressure. So this is the lowest pressure that we've had so far, although hurricane hunters are just going to heading out there to investigate again, and we'll see if things have changed, because we do see that the configuration on the radar looks a little different than it did earlier when the storm was really wreaking havoc on the Outer Banks. And moving to the northeast at 21 is the latest analysis, so it's a little bit slower, but generally we expect the storm to pick up speed as we go through the day here today. So there it is at 6 a.m. well offshore. Now watch as we go back 3 hours and you see where it came. So Stephanie's up here in Kill Devil Hills, down here just south of Rodanthe. That's where Jim Cantore is, and the storm went right between the two of them. So on Jim's part of it, down there to the south, that's where the wind came in from the west, and that pushed all that water up over the roads and up over where Jim Cantore is, and we'll hear from him in just a little bit. Up to the north, the winds came in from the ocean side, but the land there is very high, and now that the storm has moved on off to the east, and let me stop it there, you can see the direction coming in now from the north, and that's why Stephanie is going to be blasted by wind coming along the beach there, and that's why the sand is all being picked up. Where's it going next? It's going off to the northeast. The forecast on this has been spectacularly good, but the storm is going to get kind of big in diameter up here, and Cape Cod is sticking right next to it. So there is a tropical storm warning in effect for all of Cape Cod now and Nantucket, and the weather up in the northeast and especially New England is really going to be ugly tonight, and even down East Maine, ugly up there as well, but not really threatening. Those folks can certainly deal with a fast-moving storm moving by, even if the winds do get pretty gusty. Certainly used to with big nor'easters in that part of the country. All right, Stephanie, let me send it back to you in Kill Devil Hills.
All right, Brian, thank you. We now want to go to Rodanthe to the south of me, where Jim Cantore has been in the eye wall of this system. Jim, for our viewers that are maybe just waking up around the country, talk about what the experience was like throughout the night, how quickly conditions deteriorated, what those conditions were like.
Well, Stephanie, you can see here we're in this parking lot. We're actually in Waves, North Carolina. This is real water sports, and you can see all the debris which is washed up from Pamlico Sound. Let's roll that video actually of this area here, where you can see the water splashing up about a foot high here in this parking lot. Gave us quite a scare. My crew's never been through storm surge, so it was absolutely awful. If you were watching us overnight, you remember Mark Sudduth and his camera, that he has a floatable camera on GoPro that you can actually see. So let's take those pictures. It looks like it's jammed up somewhere, but what we did was we put it at the top of the dock. The surge came in from Pamlico Sound, all right? It picked up this thing and floated it off. I don't know where it is right now, but you're looking at the pictures that it's looking at. Probably some rough seas, it may be jammed up against some bushes and whatnot. And here behind me is Highway 12. This is Highway 12, and this is the way it looks northbound and southbound as well. And it's pretty deep, guys. I'm going to walk out here to show you just how high it is, because this is unbelievable. The water came in, I would say 6 feet in about 20 minutes. I mean, it really, really came up quick. We did not lose power here, which is absolutely amazing. We have cell service, so when our truck went down, we actually broadcast over a cell, a tool called Live View, all right? And that allowed us to do the broadcast over the cell phone. As far as I can look north here, guys, on Highway 12, it is underwater. It is now, again, knee-deep to thigh-deep here, looking southbound as well. Clouds are still whipping by. There is some damage to some of the roofs here. I can see some of the shingles out here that have been torn off. We had winds close to 90 miles per hour. 90 miles per hour, 70 sustained. So we're easily right there at hurricane force from this storm. So it's absolutely amazing. And Ryan, pan out. I want to show everybody the Pamlico Sound here, because by the time I walk over, we may run out of time. You probably can't hear me, but this is amazing. I mean, if you think of Pamlico Sound on just a summer day, it's docile, it's almost glass. All the kiteboarders just love going out there and looking at it. And what we're going to do is have Ryan pan around and show you this. I mean, look at this, Abrams. It looks like a wash tub out here. You would never guess that was Pamlico Sound. You'd think that was the Atlantic Ocean, the way the wave action is. That water is still high because the wind is on shore. It is blowing the Sound still here on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. So that's what we're dealing with here. We'll keep you posted as the winds continue to howl, and in my estimation, still gusting, especially between these two buildings, up over 50 miles per hour. All right, guys, stick around. Much more to come with Wake Up with Al, as the Outer Banks have taken a major hit from water. Sound side flooding. Highway.
Look, I caught the green M&M gremlin. Mine's the chocolate volcano darkness.
What's yours?
Hot fudge.
That's all you got? Nice.
More ice cream toppings, more summer fun. Walmart.
Searching with devotion for a snack that isn't lame, but this takes my breath away.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm on it. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You're covered, Kevin.
Thanks, Melinda.
I have blah blah insurance, so person, come help.
Hey, Grandma. Dad, look who it is.
I see who it is.
6 callers ahead of us, Jimmy.
You're not helping.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. There to help you anytime, anywhere, anyway. That's getting to a better state.
Ugh, the stress.
New Coppertone Clearly Sheer sunscreens. Barely noticeable and face-friendly for beach, pool, and sunny days. Perfect, no matter what you're wearing.
It's so on.
Coppertone Clearly Sheer. It's on.
Currently in our area, 79 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Independence Day, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 90, chance of rain 60%. Tonight, partly cloudy with isolated thunderstorms possible. Low 76, chance of rain 30%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Let's unplug the past. Let's say goodbye to those. And hello to whoa. Let's find a better way to cook this. Wash that. Compare those and save these. Because you can make dinner. Or you can make dinner a breeze. Are you ready? Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Right now, this Maytag French door refrigerator, just $9.98.
Looks like the Garcias got a new car.
What'd they get?
I don't know.
Sure doesn't look like a Buick.
Buick.
I'm outside. Where are you?
I'm right here. I'm in the Buick.
I don't see a Buick.
Take a fresh look at Buick. It just might surprise you.
Oh, that's not a Buick. That's what I told him. Wow. This is nice. Oh, my.
Enjoy the dealer experience ranked highest by J.D. Power and get $1,250 Independence Day cash plus 0% financing for 60 months on the 2014 Enclave.
And welcome back into Wake Up with Al. The water is getting farther and farther back out into the Atlantic this morning here on the east side of the Outer Banks. That is not the case, however, on the west side of the Outer Banks, where they still have that west wind. So on the Sound side, it's still seeing that significant flooding. We have a northerly wind where we're located, so that the sand is just ripping down the beach. But earlier, the water was all the way up to this spot. We have seen a little bit of erosion, but it hasn't been hugely significant. I've been in hurricanes where there are massive drop-offs when we come to erosion. erosion, of course, everything is relative. Let's go down to my colleague, Regan Medji, who's in Wrightsville Beach, and find out how big their erosion has been. Regan, good morning. Good morning to you.
Well, good morning there, Stephanie. That's right. Well, erosion, of course, here, this is a big issue. We woke up with the mayor today about 2 hours. We were just patrolling the area, see what exactly the issue was. He says the big issue here he was most concerned about was that beach erosion. So what do we mean by that? About a month ago, they just got done with a humongous installation project here. It's called Renourishment of the beach, about $8.5 million of that. So basically what they did, they dredged out parts of the inlet and they put that sand onto the beach. So I don't know with the amount of light we have, but if we kind of can look back here, you see like it looks like a pretty good sweeping area. They added a couple of up to 75 to 100 feet of additional beach to portions of Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina. So while we were looking through everything this morning, he noticed that the erosion wasn't as bad. He says it's been a big sigh of relief here in Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina. Arthur did not do as much damage as what he was worried about. So he said maybe about 10 feet was eroded in certain parts and portions of the beach here. But as he said, we kind of basically dodged a bullet. And now you look at the surf and it's calmer looking at it today. But there is a hidden danger. It's those rip currents. So that's something he said as well that the public has to make sure that they're aware of. It's 4th of July. That means there's a lot of tourists coming to this area, especially today. We said the day here, it's going to be one day and then back to normal. And that's basically what happened. Steph, back to you.
All right, Regan, I mean, it is extremely hard to stand. With this north wind, we're getting our winds around 20 to 30 miles an hour. So that just tells you you don't need to be in Category 1 sustained winds in order to have a tough time standing. This thing's a Category 2. Can you imagine trying to stand in 100 miles an hour winds? You just saw what that was like when you're talking about winds 20 to 30 miles an hour. That sand obviously does not feel good. We still have electricity here, even though we have had some of those stronger winds. The wind gusts where they've been around 90, 100 miles an hour have been a little bit farther to the south where they were in the core of that eye wall. There has been a little bit of overwash onto Highway 12 that we know of. I, of course, will continue to give you updates on the state of Highway 12 as we know it. Right now, though, the wind is making its way out to sea, and Jen, it couldn't get out of here I hope it could get out of here faster. Right now, moving at 23 miles an hour, and it can up that speed if it'd like it.
Oh, I know, Steph, for sure. Certainly everyone in the Outer Banks thinking that. People up the East Coast are wondering where it's headed, though, right? So we will talk about the track and talk about the front, because it's been a mess 2 nights in a row now. We've had nasty storms in the Northeast here that has disrupted travel, caused power outages, created damage. This front is kind of stuck for the moment here. It's very slow moving at the moment, but it's moving out, and it's one of the things that will help steer Arthur with it out to sea. What we are going to be watching for, though, is the interaction with the front plus the moisture from Arthur. And so the concern is that we could get some pretty heavy rain actually up here into portions of the mid-Atlantic or even Northeast here, depending on how much of this tropical moisture interacts with the front. That's why flood watches have been posted, and they're up here throughout the area through at least noon today for that concern. The forecast is for rain, but that's for about the first half or 2/3 of today, and then we'll see clearing. And by tomorrow, we've got all the rain out of here, and we've got a great looking weekend ahead, but it's today. We got to keep an eye on the weather. Steph, back to you.
All right, Jen, thanks for that. Coming up next, we have expert analysis that you can only get here on the Weather Channel. Our hurricane specialist, Brian Norcross, and also we have Dr. Michael Lowry talking about the water rise and when exactly it is going to go back down. That's all coming up after Woke on the 8th right here on the Wake Up with Al.
I'm JANE, and I have COPD.
I'm DAVE, and I have COPD.
I'm KATE, and I have COPD. But I don't want my breathing problems to get in the way of my volunteering. That's why I asked my doctor about BREO.
Once daily, Brio Ellipta helps increase airflow from the lungs for a full 24 hours. And Brio helps reduce symptom flare-ups that last several days and require oral steroids, antibiotics, or hospital stay. Brio is not for asthma. Brio contains a type of medicine that increases risk of death in people with asthma. It is not known if this risk is increased in COPD. Brio won't replace rescue inhalers for sudden COPD symptoms and should not be used more than once a day. Brio may increase your risk of pneumonia, thrush, osteoporosis, and some eye problems. Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition or high blood pressure before taking Brio.
Ask your doctor about BREO for COPD.
First prescription free at mybrio.com.
Sealy Posturepedic Hybrid, the contouring comfort of cooling gel memory foam in the top half, and the deep down support of titanium alloy springs underneath, making it perfect for everyone. This 4th of July, get a free box spring with the purchase of any Sealy Posturepedic Hybrid mattress.
Bridgestone's new Drive Guard tires are engineered to take a puncture and go up to 50 miles.
We can drive 50 miles on a flat, and you have an app that makes nails pop up?
Yep.
We could rule the world. But I've got carpool at 3, though, so
that time
we could, mess with the world.
50 miles on a flat. Because if your tires keep rolling, your day does too.
Latte or Olay? Sunny or bubbly? Cozy or cool? Or wheels or wheels? Everything exactly the way you want it until boom. It's bedtime. Your mattress isn't bliss. It's a battleground of thwarted desire. Enter the Sleep Number bed. Right now, you can save $400 on the all-new C4 mattress set. He's the softie. His Sleep Number setting is 35. You're the rock. Your setting is 60. That works. He's the night owl. His side's up while you're in dreamland. You're the early bird, up and at 'em. No problem, because you're in it together, keeping the love alive. And by the way, snoring? Sleep Number's even got an adjustment for that. Crazy? Only if sleeping peacefully with your soulmate is crazy. You can only find Sleep Number at a Sleep Number store. Right now, you'll find the lowest prices of the season, plus 36-month financing on qualifying purchases. No better sleep with Sleep Number.
1-800-990-8968. Exos Pro is not sold in stores, so call 1-800-990-8968 today.
Stay tuned for your local on the 8s, brought to you by Lowe's, the place to save this 4th of July.
Kids are fed?
Kids are fed. Homework is done. Baths are taken.
I'm impressed. Looks like you've got everything under control.
We got it all under control here. We're all good, right, guys?
Yeah. Yeah, we're all good here. Yep.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Love you.
Finally, a paint that's stain-resistant and scrubbable. Introducing new Valspar Reserve. Now get $10 to $40 off our best paint and stains.
Currently in our area, 79 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Independence Day, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 90, chance of rain 60%. Tonight, partly cloudy with isolated thunderstorms possible. Low 76, chance of rain 30%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
All right, it sounds like we might be having some audio issues out there with Stephanie Schott, though. You can see she is still in some strong gusty winds. You're blowing that sand and surf right across the beach there in Kill Devil Hills. Let's get more analysis on Hurricane Arthur, still a Category 2 hurricane. We're going to bring our hurricane specialist, Brian Norcross, with more. And Brian, as he continues to exit out to sea, what's next here? What kind of interaction do you think there'll be with the front, and who's next in line for potential impacts?
Well, the front and the steering currents associated with the front are going to take it up to near New England, but keep it offshore, and we really don't have a lot of concern there, even though they do have the tropical storm warnings up. We don't want anybody out on the water, anybody in a threatening location. But this event in the Outer Banks is not over yet, and Michael Lowry is our storm surge specialist. Michael, let's talk about what's happening now and what you've got here related to this ongoing storm surge.
Yeah, take a look at the storm itself now pulling away from the coast, so you would think, well, the impact's now subsiding, the water level starting to recede. Not quite yet, actually. actually. The storm surge flooding that we're seeing in Oregon Inlet, Brian, has been the highest that we've seen all morning, 3.5 feet of storm surge flooding. This is now sound side. We're still getting very, very strong winds on the southwest side of the storm. The western, northwesterly winds just shoving up water sound side, and that water piling up and going over the land, flooding normally dry areas with sound, with the water from the Pamlico Sound.
Well, and when you say 3.5 feet of storm surge flooding, it's kind of a new concept, right? And what we're talking about is water up to waist deep, but moving with a lot of velocity. So nobody is standing in that water at the Oregon Inlet there, because that's over the land. That's not over the normal water. That's over the land.
And just a little bit of that water. I mean, the storm surges might be moving at 5-6 miles an hour, which doesn't sound like it's moving very fast, but a 3-foot storm surge moving at 5 miles an hour has the same damage potential as a 111-mile-per-hour wind, a Category 3 hurricane. So, look, it's causing a lot of damage in those areas that it's flooding, unfortunately, for residents there. Let's show this graph. We talked about this earlier, Brian, and this is how quickly that storm surge came up on the sound side. Cantore was saying in 20 minutes he thought the storm surge rose about 6 feet. That's an incredible rise in water in a short amount of time. So this purple line that you're seeing here, this is the storm surge line as we move through the afternoon and into the evening hours. There was actually what we call a set down because we had winds that were easterly, blowing the water away from the west-facing shoreline of the Sound, and then those winds, like a light switch, just flipped in the other direction. And when they did that, the waters came up very, very quickly. You had westerly winds piling up water on the opposite side of the Sound. You can almost think of the Sound as a bowl of water, and you're blowing the water toward one side. You flip the switch, turn the fan off, and then the water sloshed back in the opposite direction. And the flood line is right about, see, I'll draw it right here, right about in here. So we're still above that flood line. In fact, the storm surge continues to creep up here.
And this is Oregon Inlet. Now, Oregon Inlet is north of where Jim Cantore is, just a little ways up the coast there. But still, it's essentially the same wind flow coming in from the west and pushing the Sound water up against the Outer Banks.
Yeah, that's a good point. We don't have a whole lot of observations, unfortunately, right along the coast there. So in pockets in lower lying areas, you could see storm surge flooding that's worse than what we're seeing there in the lower lying areas. Now, the National Hurricane Center did predict a 2 to 4 foot storm surge, and that looks like, Brian, what we're seeing there along the coast.
2 to 4 feet above the ground, right? 2 to 4 feet actually above the ground. So, you know, they sound like small numbers.
Right,
but when you think of water being this high and then the power of the hurricane behind that water, you can't stand in that water, you can die in that water. So when they put out those kind of forecasts, people are going to have to get used to this kind of damage.
And most of our deaths in hurricanes are due to drowning. 90% of deaths in hurricanes are from drowning.
All right. Michael Laurie, thanks very much. All right, Stephanie, back to you in Kill Devil Hills.
You know, I've got to tell you, it's hard to be out here because the sand is blowing so hard and so consistently. I always joke, you know, about Cantore and his goggles, but I would do anything to have Cantore's goggles right now in my eyes. I legitimately might have to go inside and pour water into my eyes because I don't want to get into any trouble with any cornea issues, obviously, with this sand. So in this case, this can still be a dangerous storm. The rain is back. We have more expert analysis coming up after a quick break for your local on the 8s.
What do astronauts eat?
Have lunch with one and find out. Only at Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. Meet real astronauts, see Space Shuttle Atlantis, and experience firsthand the future of America's space exploration.
They lived.
They lived.
They lived.
We lived, thanks to our Subaru.
Love. It's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
Want to celebrate the 4th without little uninvited guests? Stop by your neighborhood Ace to get Ortho Home Defense Max with Comfort Wand. Just $9.99 after $3 instant savings during our 4th of July event, happening now.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Hello. 3 grams daily of beta-glucan, a soluble fiber from whole grain oat foods like Cheerios, can help lower cholesterol. Thank you.
Man, these cheesy bread dogs are incredible.
Real good.
The cheese is baked right into the bun.
You know, in this case, it really is what's on the outside that counts.
Maybe that phrase, it's what's on the inside that counts, isn't true.
I mean, I've only been judging books by their covers.
Really?
I only read the cover.
Oh, you don't read what's inside?
No, I could read 2, 3 covers. Cover to cover. Cover and cover.
Count on the cheesy goodness of the new Cheesy Bread Dogs. They're the perfect match for any of our 25 shakes. This is how you Sonic.
So, have you heard about this new Lancaster? Buttery rich, smooth, and surprisingly soft creams. So you give one a try, and wow. It's new Lancaster. It's caramel reimagined.
Hey, I'm Ted, and this is Rudy. Say hi, Rudy. I'd do anything to keep this guy happy and healthy. That's why I'm so excited about these new Milk-Bone brushing chews. I'm not the only one. It's a brilliant new way to take care of his teeth. Clinically proven as effective as brushing. Okay, here you go. Have you ever seen a dog brush his own teeth? The twist and nub design cleans all the way down to the gum line, even reaching the back teeth. They taste like a treat, but they clean like a toothbrush. Nothing says you care like a Milk-Bone brushing chew.
In this bag is 150 years of Swedish experience in perfecting the rich, never bitter taste of Gevalia. We do it all for this very experience.
That's good.
I know, right? Gevalia.
What does a 37 million horsepower launch feel like?
Experience it for yourself. Only at Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. Meet real astronauts, see Space Shuttle Atlantis, and experience firsthand the future of America's space exploration.
Currently in our area, 79 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Independence Day, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 90, chance of rain 60%. Tonight, partly cloudy with isolated thunderstorms possible. Low 76, chance of rain 30%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Arthur, now a Category 2 hurricane, continues its trek towards the northeast.
That's horizontal rain, 80 miles an hour.
Wow, 103 miles per hour at Stumpy Point, 15 miles by northwest. We are still in the eye, and we're still trying to get to the same place. Wow.
See that moving? That's the house moving. See that fish moving? That's the house moving.
And welcome into Wake Up with Al this morning. Hurricane Arthur, Category 2, making landfall shortly after 11 o'clock last night. We are tracking it as it moves up the East Coast very quickly at 23 miles an hour. Good morning and happy 4th of July. It's a very wet and sandy one here throughout the Outer Banks, and this is going to affect us all the way up the East Coast, but thankfully a front is going to sweep Arthur out to sea, and it's going to be beautiful for the second half of the day and on into the weekend. As you can see, we are having still very strong winds on the coast, significant wind blasts going on right now with the sand, and some erosion as well. We'll talk about that in a minute. First, let's give you the very latest. And the governor says that more than 4,300 evacuated from Hatteras and Ocracoke. Peak wind gusts at Cape Lookout 101 miles an hour, Ocracoke at 89, Pimlico Sound 99. The National Guard and DOT crews are ready to assess Arthur once they can get out when these winds have died down. So the latest right now, still a Category 2 with those winds at 100 miles per hour, but moving quickly off to the northeast. The radar shows that the rain is still coming in. I've got to tell you, I'm thankful for the rain on the beaches because it actually keeps some of that sand down, and there are still strong winds. And the big concern, I think, right now for the Outer Banks is the sound side, as they are getting that west wind, and that's pushing the water up. We'll go to Jim Cantori a little bit later. He's down in Rodanthe, where they've seen significant water rise, and we are also also going to talk to our experts. We want to start off with Brian Norcross, our senior hurricane expert. Brian, all the water is starting to recede here. We've seen a little bit of beach erosion, but it is still the wind. No damage to report. The power is still up here. But as you can see, we're getting blasted on the beach here. And I always tease Cantore about his goggles, but I would do anything for a pair right now.
I can imagine, Stephanie, you just happen to have a little piece of the backside of the eye wall right over that part of the northern part of the Outer Banks. You're just a little unlucky here at the minute. And it's not really the eye wall. It's actually the second band right just outside of the eye wall. I'll show you here on the radar in just a second. All right, let's bring you up to date. If you're just tuning in, here's the latest on Hurricane Arthur. National Hurricane Center, as of 6 o'clock, the top of the hour, still estimating 100 miles an hour at the top winds in the circulation. 973 millibars moving northeast away from the Outer Banks now. The center is, and it's 85 miles east-southeast of Norfolk, Virginia, and moving out into the Atlantic, and the winds will just slowly die down, and the water will begin to come down here fairly soon, but it's going to take a while. Once that water gets piled up, it just takes a while to slosh back. Here's the way the radar looks right now, and the eye is off here, offshore, and then we have, here's the eye wall, so that's offshore, but look at this, right over this big area that's solid right there, that the southern tip of it is right on Kill Devil Hills, and it's a feeder band that's feeding into the eye. And so this was the band number 1, that's band number 2, so a little bit weaker, but as you can see, Stephanie just getting blasted, and as this moves away, it's going to move out of there pretty quickly, but it's got some time to go. And now let me go back and put the radar in motion. You can see what's happened over the last 3 hours when it came right between Kill Devil Hills, where Stephanie is, and down here just below Rodanthe, where Jim Cantore is. The center came right between. You see the center came right between the two and has moved on off to the northeast now. Now, as it came in about 4 o'clock, a little after 4 o'clock in the morning, then the winds were coming very strong because that band number 1, in other words, the eye wall, was pushing the water here from Pimlico Sound over the Outer Banks right here, Rodanthe, Waves, and down that area. That was the core of it, the worst of it, right there where Jim Cantore was. On the northern side, you still got the eye wall, but the left side eye wall is not as strong as the right side, and the right side, compared to the direction of movement, was down to the south. So just happened to be that our folks were right there on either side of the eye, and one of our folks, Mark Sudduth, was actually in the middle of the eye where it went quiet. So where's the storm going next? Well, it's going to speed away, not soon enough for Stephanie, I'm afraid, for Wake Up with Al, but it will be going there pretty soon, and the winds will be coming down. But it's going to be pretty big when it gets up here, so some of those strong winds will affect the extreme, especially the eastern part of Cape Cod. So we have a tropical storm warning in effect for Cape Cod and Nantucket, so watch yourself there. Nasty weather in New England today and in Long Island, New York especially, but it will move out for the rest of the weekend. All right, let's send it back to Stephanie, and it is still blowing. Sorry about that. It's going to blow for a little while.
That's all right, Brian, but look what I found. I've got to tell you, when you're out in these situations, you are family with your crew. You are a pack, and I am so thankful that someone in my crew was nice enough to hand me off these goggles, because this sand is legitimately in my eyes to the point where I'm going to have to go inside once the show is over and wash them out. Now I have to go to Cantore, who's certainly going to pick on me because I've made fun of him for years for his goggles, but I haven't been this sandblasted in a long time, Can Man. But goggles in my hurricane bag for sure now on.
Abrams, all I'm going to say to you is I taught you well. So you should know better. That's all. I'm going to leave it at that. But here's the deal. The good news is you're an awesome gal, and you've got the goggles you need right now. I want to bring in my buddy Trip Foreman. He is just an awesome dude. He pretty much put us up here at his place to ride out the storm. And Real Water Sports, I love you guys, man. I love you guys, and I appreciate that. First of all, tell us how you fared. You've been here all night, looks like I have.
Yeah, I think, there's definitely some damage, but overall, I think we fared pretty well. We've definitely seen weaker storms. I mean, this one was a surprise. I mean, it was way stronger than what was predicted. and the surge that came in behind it. I mean, you saw the surge that came in, and it was like, that was, as far as the amount that the water came up and how quickly it came up, that's about as fast as any of us have ever seen it come up. But overall, I mean, there's some, cosmetic damage and light damage, but nothing structural. And like all of our buildings are intact, and all the facilities are intact as well.
So because you've been out here, tell our viewers watching from other parts of the country, I mean, we see Highway 12 flooded. We also see it going down. What's it going to reveal once that water goes completely down in a few hours?
I mean, the biggest thing today is going to be, having the water levels go down, and then starting the cleanup. You got a lot of, if you look around us, we got a lot of like seaweed and debris that came out of the sound and up onto the land and the highway. So as that water level recedes, it's just a big cleanup. It's a big dig.
And behind us, how incredible is this? Unusual, docile Pamlico Sound, now looking like a wash tub out there.
Yeah, a lot of people think it's always the ocean, that's going to be damaging. Right. But in Hurricane Irene, that was a big one for us, and that was the sound that actually broke out and broke over the island into the ocean. And with this storm as well, same thing. There was very minor like ocean overwash, and it was all sound side flooding. So it's a very shallow, docile body of water on a day-to-day basis, but not last night.
Not today. Thanks, Trip Foreman. We appreciate you, buddy.
Jim, thanks a lot. Thanks.
Come down and see Trip, everybody, at Real Water Sports here in Waves, North Carolina. Abrams, I'm going to send it back to you as we are continuing to see winds howl here, easily gusting over 40 miles per hour. Back to you.
Yeah, and as this front is sweeping the system out to sea, we were talking about those winds are going to continue, and the winds are going to expand because you have the two systems coming together. We have had some erosion out. Thankfully, the water is going back out into the Atlantic, but there has been a couple feet of erosion, I would say, on the beach here. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back live with expert analysis.
Currently in our area, 79 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Independence Day, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 90, chance of rain 60%. Tonight, partly cloudy with isolated thunderstorms possible. Low 76. Chance of rain 30%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
There once was a hungry road that ate up tires, wearing down the tread and wearing out safety, leaving worried drivers with no choice but to buy new ones. Then along came the Michelin Man who proved the right tire changes everything, putting those drivers back on the road with safety that lasts. Find the right tire for you at MichelinMan.com. Michelin, a better way forward.
Introducing the premier all-season tire, providing your family with enhanced safety in all seasons.
I'm a loving husband and a real good dad, but weeds just make me rattlesnake mad. Well, Roundup has a sharp-shooting wand. I'm sending them weeds to the great beyond. Roundup. Yeah. No need to pump, just point and shoot. Hit them in the leaves and it kills to the root. Round fences, trees, even mulched beds, because the only good weed is a weed that's dead. Roundup. Yeah. With a one-touch wand.
Andrew, Rita, Sandy. Meet Chris, Jackie, Joe. Minor damage or major disaster. When you need us most, we're there. State Farm. We're a force of nature, too.
Listen up.
I'm reworking the menu. Veggies, you're cool. Mayo, corn dogs, you are so out of here.
The complete balanced nutrition of great tasting Ensure. 24 vitamins and minerals, 9 grams of protein, with 30% less sugars than before. Ensure, your #1 doctor recommended brand, now introduces Ensure Active. Muscle health, clear protein drink, and high protein. Targeted nutrition to feed your active life. Ensure, take life in.
Sun's out. Challenge issued.
New Coppertone Sport AccuSpray. Designed to help you spray where you want, not where you don't.
It's so on.
Coppertone Sport AccuSpray. It's on.
Let's go emerald coasting. Visit Destin, Fort Walton Beach, Okaloosa Island, the heart of Florida's Emerald Coast.
Let's unplug the past. Let's say goodbye to those. And hello to whoa. Let's find a better way to cook this. Wash that. Compare those and save these. Because you can make dinner. Or you can make dinner a breeze. Are you ready? Let's do this. More saving. More doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Right now, this Whirlpool washer dryer, just $3.49 each.
Searching with devotion for a snack that isn't lame, but this takes my breath away.
Hi, Adam Richman here, guy from TV/Beefeater/Burger Lover. Be sure you have 100% beef that's all natural, like this ground beef that I picked up at Walmart. For a great burger, here's a tip for grilling it up just right. Leave your burgers in peace. Don't poke them, don't move them, and definitely don't press them down with a spatula. Just throw them on a grill, flip it once, and you're on your way to burger bliss.
Try ground beef from Walmart today. It's 100% guaranteed or your money back.
Welcome back to our continuing coverage of Hurricane Arthur. Again, we're having some technical difficulties getting Stephanie out there in the field of Kill Devil Hills. And really, Kill Devil Hills have certainly got the brunt of Hurricane Arthur as it lashed the Carolinas overnight last night. It strengthened more, packing damaging winds and rains through the overnight. And the Weather Channel's Dave Malkoff was right there in the thick of it as it slammed in this morning.
Guys, we have moved up north to Kitty Hawk, where we've got a little bit of water and sand on the highway, but not too bad. Here is the situation that is bad. Look, we've got a power line that is coming down through the roadway. I'm not sure if I can light that up for you, but that was, we barely missed driving right into that, and we had to kind of hit the brakes really fast, and I scared the crew for a second, but it would have been more scary if we would have hit that power line. I'm not sure if that's a TV cable or whatever, but you don't want to take the risk that could actually have power in it. So these businesses and these homes actually do have power still, but that line is down in the middle of the road. Let me tell you what we've been hearing on the police scanner through here as the wind is picking up. There was a mother and a child in a trailer park down near Highway 12 as it turns off near Cape Hatteras, and they were trapped inside their home, inside the mandatory evacuation zone. They decided to try to ride it out, and then in the middle of the night, they are calling Dare County Fire Rescue and trying to get evacuated from there. Dare County Fire Rescue said over the scanner, "We cannot come and get her." That is the situation that people put themselves in when they do not heed the mandatory evacuation. It is a scary situation for that mother and the child inside that trailer park, but they're not going to get any help as water is coming in. That's what we're hearing over the scanner. So right now, as we walk a little bit further down here and make sure that we're not walking into those power lines, I can show you as we send it back to you guys, the water that is accumulating here on the street. We're going to see more storm surge as the storm comes back around through Kitty Hawk. Dave Malkoff, the Weather Channel, back to you guys.
Dave, thank you. And Dave filed that report a little earlier through the overnight. Now, we're going to check in with the conditions farther north up the coast. And joining us right now on the phone is Aaron Sutton with the Virginia Beach Emergency Management. Aaron, thanks for joining us. We've been watching some of the way outer bands moving in. What are you observing there?
Right now, we're just seeing some of the wind and the heavier rains are starting to roll in now, especially in the southern end of the city, around the Back Bay, Sandbridge area. We're seeing the heavier rains. But at the ocean front right now, we're still looking at just kind of what looks like a severe thunderstorm, a severe storm for us. We still have quite a bit of beach that hasn't been inundated, but the bulk of the storm that we're looking at right now is the southern end of the city.
Now, what about the Bay Bridge and the tunnel? Any issues, any restrictions?
Not at this time that I know of. We haven't heard of any. The Chesapeake Bay Bridge may. I just haven't had notification at this time.
Power outages, any issues with that?
We do have some power outages scattered throughout the Hampton Roads area. We've had a few power lines down throughout the area, but nothing significant.
All right, Erin Sutton with Virginia Beach Emergency Management. Thanks for joining us here. We wish you well as we continue to ride out the rest of this. The rain is still with us here for quite some time, so we're watching that. And Stephanie, of course, knows that all too well. Let's go back to Stephanie Abrams on the beach in Kill Devil Hills. Still getting blasted with the sand and the surf, Steph.
Yeah, and Jen, you know, I actually wish we would have a little rain that would take the sand down. But what we've been getting all morning long is this consistent northerly wind. It is picking up the sand and obviously blasting it down the coast. And at times, our winds 20 to 30 miles an hour, it gives you a little bit of a hard time standing up. So that should let you know that you cannot stand outside in the eye wall of even a Category 1 hurricane. Those winds will just make you lean over and brace over. Thankfully for us here, the water is receding. The Atlantic is going out. They are not seeing the same on the sound side. They are getting more of a west wind, and so they are seeing that water push on land. So there are still flooding issues there, but where we're located in Kitty Hawk, Highway 12 is still passable. It is not covered with sand and water, but look at this. Just incredible as this Category 2 continues to rapidly move offshore at 23 miles an hour. We will be back with more live reports and expert analysis after your local on the 8s.
This program was brought to you by Toyota. Watch the Today Show to catch the Toyota Concert Series.
Welcome to No Man's Land. It's a place you've been before, but it's not on any map. So go out there, lose yourself, and find the truth. We're all born wild. Let's keep it that way. The 2014 4Runner. Toyota. Let's go places.
Currently in our area, 79 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Independence Day, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 90, chance of rain 60%. Tonight, partly cloudy with isolated thunderstorms possible. Low 76. Chance of rain 30%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Bridgestone's new Drive Guard tires are engineered to take a puncture and go up to 50 miles.
We can drive 50 miles on a flat, and you have an app that makes nails pop up?
Yep.
We could rule the world. But I've got carpool at 3, though, so
that time
we could, mess with the world.
50 miles on a flat. Because if your tires keep rolling, your day does, too. And there's no better place to get your Bridgestone Drive Guard tires than Firestone Complete Auto Care.
You bring your banged-up car to the repair shop. When you get it back, the paint job doesn't match. The guy who owns the shop says, "Looks fine to me." Of course, he's wearing red pants with an orange shirt. His cashier says if you squint, you don't even notice it. What?
Use a Liberty Mutual approved repair shop and all repairs are guaranteed for as long as you own your car. See car insurance in a whole new light. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Hurry in for July 4th savings. Get 15% off all full-size Masterforge gas grills at Lowe's.
Introducing the new Optimum by Sealy Posturepedic. With cooling gel foam from top to bottom,
This family may love their tree, but a colony of ants will use these branches on a roofline like the Autobahn.
But I know where they are. Going from here to there. And what time of year to bait them with protein? When to bait with fat. I just shut down their freeway like a jackknife 18-wheeler. To catch a pest, you've got to think like a pest. Not just in any home, in your home.
I have to come here to work online, so I get home late. Having internet at home would just be easier.
The internet is essential for homework, research, even finding a new job. That's why Comcast offers Internet Essentials. It brings affordable internet to homes that qualify, because your child can really succeed when you have the internet in your home. So call 1-855-8-INTERNET or visit InternetEssentials.com today.
Our way of saying thank you. Wild tiger numbers are at an all-time low. Please help save them now.
And welcome back into Wake Up with Al. We are getting blasted with a northerly wind from Arthur here, and it's been picking up the sand and just tossing it down the beach. Thankfully, the water has receded where we are located, but we have seen, I would say, a couple feet of erosion, and our winds here, they have been basically 20 to 30 miles an hour. Sam Champion, AMHQ is coming up next. I feel like I need to do this, the handing over of the goggles.
Hang on for just a little while longer. Yeah, we've still got a show to come up as we watch this storm completely move off the coastline, Steph. The most interesting thing we're seeing right now is how this thing is still maintaining strength. Still a strong storm as it moves away.
Yeah, it is. And I've got to tell you, we're going to go to Brian Norcross now for some expert analysis on what exactly is happening. And Brian, I've never been so happy to look so geeky in my life. I'm better, if you will.
Yeah. Well, you look fantastic there, Stephanie. And, you know, there's one band trailing the storm, and it is right over you. I'll show you this here in just a second when we look at the radar. But let me bring you up to date here on the latest advisory. We're standing by because we're going to get a 7 o'clock advisory. The sequence we're on now is every 2 hours, so 7 o'clock we'll get an update. But in any case, the latest is 100 miles an hour is the estimated top winds in the circulation, 973 millibars, and moving to the northeast away from the Outer Banks now at 21. There you see it very clearly. And look right here, that's the last band. There's everything left is very light and inconsequential, but the last band on the Outer Banks, and it's right down there, just about to leave Kill Devil Hills. There's where Sandy and Sam are, right there. All right, take a look at this. This is wind analysis, and there you see the center of the storm offshore, and here you see the direction. It's still pushing the water from the west, but as the storm moves away, that push will let up, and it is letting up now. But the thing is that the water originally got pushed to the west, and now it's getting pushed back to the east by these winds, and so it just takes time for the water to go down. As a matter of fact, at Oregon Inlet, it's still going up. Look at the numbers here. This is well, it's actually just started to come down. We see it just coming down. It was at 3.5 feet when I just went on the air. So, okay, it is beginning to come down here. This is just below where Stephanie and Sam are there, and just above where Jim Cantore is down to the south. But the flooding is still going on. This is the feet above ground, that the water is above ground. So over 3 feet above ground there, over 1.5 feet above ground down to the south. So it's going to take a few hours here for this water really to settle back down all the way along the Outer Banks. What's going on with the storm? Well, there's this big dip in the jet stream that's coming along. There's the hurricane right there. And and that dip is going to propel the hurricane to the northeast. But notice what it's also doing. It's also pulling all this moisture up into the northeast. So that's why your weather is going to be so ugly here through the day today, and then finally clearing out tonight or later today in New York and Long Island later tonight, and in New England it's going to take overnight. As the storm speeds to the north here, it's going to come close enough to Cape Cod that they do have the tropical storm warnings in effect there. The winds are going to be coming in from the north, and they're going to be just quite gusty. The storm is going to be well offshore, but it's going to actually get bigger with that energy from the jet stream. So some of these winds are going to be gusty up over 40 miles an hour, and especially on the east-facing and north-facing side of this, and down at Nantucket as well, because they kind of stick out into the track. So just be aware of that in New England. The main thing for most people is just going to be the weather is not going to be nice till this thing is completely gone, and it is going to be gone for most of the holiday weekend. All right, that's it for now. Let me send it back to you. Stephanie.
Okay. All right, so it's back out to us. Sorry, it's a little bit hard to hear, obviously, with that wind blowing and the sand blowing here. I'm going to do the ceremonial passing of the goggles to you, and I got to tell you,
very important.
Very important, and I will always pack them in my bag.
I'll tell you, the important thing about this storm is that for people to not let down their guard, now that you've seen the center of this storm pull off the coastline, we still have a very powerful storm that is on the eastern shore of the Atlantic right now. So everybody needs to continue to watch this storm until we start to see some sign of it weakening.
The thing is it's still a Category 2.
Absolutely.
And that is a substantial storm. And of course, on the backside of this, the sound side, we are still seeing that significant flooding. Jim Cantore is still standing in water, though Highway 12 does look like it actually fared quite well in this storm.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about that is that we watched it while the winds were coming off the Atlantic, and it just wasn't as bad on 12 until we got that wind come back around from the sound. And where we are standing right now, Steph, and when I was standing up on top of the building there looking at it, we definitely have kind of a northern wind. We will soon get a west wind, and we'll get a little bit of block from the building that we've got our cameras in front of us.
It's funny you say that. I'm watching the clouds right now, and they are certainly turning around to that northwest wind.
Absolutely. All right. So,
it's all
Stephanie,
yours.
that's it for Wake Up with Al, and let's get started with AMHQ in just a moment.
All right. Enjoy.
Currently in our area, 79 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Independence Day, thunderstorms developing in the afternoon. High 90, chance of rain 60%. Tonight, partly cloudy with isolated thunderstorms possible. Low 76. Chance of rain 30%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Good morning. It is Friday, July 4th, and this is a special edition of AMHQ. We've had a Category 2 hurricane move across the eastern coast of the United States, making landfall in North Carolina, then exiting the North Carolina's coast as well. That was Hurricane Arthur, the first of this season, and the first Category 2 to make landfall in the U.S. since 2008. Good morning, Maria.
Good morning. morning, Sam. Absolutely, you see the winds still whipping in the Outer Banks. The winds continue to whip the northern edge as well. You're looking live right now at Wrightsville Beach. Here you can see Arthur has moved through, but the surf is anything but calm. You can see those waves coming in. Currents and rip currents still very much a concern. Obviously, skies still gray, but we could be seeing some clearing shortly. And again, welcome you into a special edition of AMHQ. I'm Maria LaRosa. Sam, you're in Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. Good morning to you.
And good morning to you, Maria. Yeah, we're covering this storm from every angle as I'm standing here live on the beach in Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. A little bit to my south is Jim Cantori, who's somewhere near Rodanthe at last time I saw. And then we've got, of course, got live shots to the north, team coverage. We've got folks inside the house in Atlanta to give you all the information you need as well to get you started. From our hurricane experts tracking the path this morning for Arthur, our storm chasers, meteorologists, and reporters are live in the field assessing the impact. And, of course, Anna Rittis Rodriguez will be in our broadcast headquarters in Atlanta, giving you all the news updates on Arthur's impacts as well. But let's get to the graphics and show you where this hurricane is right now. At last count, still a Category 2 hurricane, even as it made its impact and made landfall on the shore of the east coast of North Carolina, and then exited again. It still maintained its strength. Take a look at the latest radar, and you'll be able to see how those bands are still wrapping around tightly as Arthur pulls away. This is the latest information that we have it. As we said, Category 2 hurricane, 100-mile-per-hour winds there. Soon, we'll be able to watch these last bands of rain pulling off the shoreline. We've definitely gotten into a drier pattern standing here on Kill Devil Hills. You can see there's a lot less rain. However, the wind is still whipping up. As we go through this 3-hour broadcast, you'll see the conditions improving here, and then we'll turn our eyes with this storm north as it continues to travel north. Overnight, Jim Cantori in an area that got water from both sides. Jim, when I saw you overnight, you had water coming from the Atlantic, and then you had water coming from the Sound. Good morning, Jim.
Hey, good morning, Sam. Yeah, it was the Sound flooding, though. That's the worst. I'm actually standing on the middle line right now. I can see it. It's about a foot down from me here on Highway 12. The good news is it was up here. All right, so we've really retreated in terms of the water, but as far as I can see to the south, as far as I can see to the north, Highway 12 still underwater here, guys. And there's a lot of debris. As a matter of fact, some of these boulders, just like you see right here, are laying out in the middle of the road. So they're going to have to come through here probably with a payloader or a bucket loader of some sort and actually move this stuff out of the way. But you can see all the debris just kind of laying on the ground. We've had some roof damage. Winds were close to 90 miles per hour at the height of this thing at about 4 o'clock this morning. It was absolutely incredible. Let me show you what it was like in the parking garage this morning when those winds came through. I mean, look at this. Howling through, and the water that you see there is not from rainfall, mind you. That is Pamlico Sound. That is Pamlico Sound, which has come on in. And I'll tell you, that was just an amazing sight because we literally saw the Sound come up about 6 feet, Sam, in 20 minutes from where it started. I mean, you could see the water rise. It's an amazing sight. And what is usually a docile, glassy-like sound, look at it. It looks like an ocean.